Well, ni hao, everybody, and welcome back to this here big damn verse. As we are settling in now to another leisurely day here with the crew of the Courtesan, we need to take back and look around and see exactly where we are. And to do that, it's a good idea to look back and see exactly where we've been. Well, see, we've been on Persephone. We've been doing many things on Persephone, meeting with a unsavory little chap, a sad little king of a sad little hill by the name of Badger. And with perhaps a little bit of twisting by one Lo Zhao Li, Badger was made to see the error of his ways, as he gave this crew of the Courtesan a much-needed job. And with this much-needed job came a change in scenery, as we see that the riverboat Bella Rose, sitting aboard a beautiful stretch of water on this here Persephone, and as Persephone's rivers are curling about and dragging along in an almost perfectly straight line, because remember, ladies and gentlemen, this is no planet that was born, bred, and stationed for inhabitation. It was constructed, and the water inside this river is just a bit too blue, a bit too opaque. It's something those terraformers never really got right. But it's water, it's wet, it's blue. No one's ever seen the Earth that was, so they're not really aware of just how wrong it looks. But aboard and atop that water sits a beautiful, resplendent boat from a day gone by, even by the Earth that was standards. A paddle wheel contraption of the almighty American Midwest. The paddle itself is borne by a grav engine, floating and suspending as it spins through the water. But as we look closer, we see the opulence that is apparent here in Persephone, when shindigs and manners of state require aristocrats or would-be aristocrats to dress up in their finest, have 7 slaves take 7 days to put them in dresses. And all these people have gathered again for the inaugural journey of the Bella Rose as she conducts her maritime explorations through this Persephone's lone waterway. But it is aboard this craft that something particular is about to happen. You see, Badger has informed the crew that a particular person by the name of Manuel Manny Sandoval is traveling aboard the Bella Rose. And Manny Sandoval is carrying with him a cube, a perfect 2 feet by 2 feet. Well, you see, whoever is employing Badger wants that cube. And while they would prefer subtlety to its acquisition is paramount. And if loud is the only thing that works, then the Courtesan's crew has been given permission to scream. So as we sit back and we see the Bella Rose and we see the opulence and we see how things are not quite right with the water. Well, they are quite right on land, as the crew of the Courtesan has just arrived, entered into the dock as people were milling about. But as our camera pulls down on the crew of the Courtesan, it passes them. For you see, Badger realized that this mission in and of itself required just a little bit more than what the crew of the Courtesan possessed. And what that thing was guns. And it just so happens that aboard the Bella Rose, a retired soldier, not a plant, not an operative, not an undercover agent, but a man that has simply been working on the boat for many months, used to be a former soldier, a man by the name of 3-Gun Arizona Lee. And 3-Gun has been conscripted and pulled back into service, as it is his turn and his time to brush paths with the crew of the Courtesan. Now, what 3-Gun is intending to do here is help them acquire this package. His skill set? Violence. And so, as we introduce Cody as 3-Gun Arizona Lee, we drop in on the Bella Rose, but the Bella Rose, we pass by where everybody is getting on board, and we go up to the railing of the top deck, where 3-Gun is sitting with his arms crossed, elbows aboard the bar, as he looks out, seeing everything come in. And as the camera pulls in to 3-Gun, Cody, what does he look like? There, we had you muted, buddy. Go right ahead
Oh,
now.
Three Guns is a well-dressed man, a little out of place for even this bit of obsolescence. A little bit too clean. Uh, Tan from being out in the sun fighting or just, you know, doing things that he shouldn't be doing. On him, he has this very nice belt. 3 guns on it. But 2 of them, you know, very nice looking, but nothing special. But that third one right in front, old style revolver. Very ornate, engraved, nice little ivory handle. You can tell it's his pride and joy. Oddly enough, though, instead of bullets beside it, shells of a shotgun.
Nice, nice. And so as we see this, a resplendent 3-gun in fact as well as in metaphor, as all of his opulent weaponry hangs from him in places of prime location and prominence. 3-gun, as you have been told what you are going to do, you know the following. You know that whoever is hiring or whoever has hired Badger to do this particular job has deep pockets, because they were able to pay you to come out of your pseudo-retirement, risk your job here on the Bella Rose, so the money that's being offered to you is substantial. It's 3 times your normal fee, or what your normal fee had been. And not only did they grease your palms, but they greased the palms of your employer on the Bella Rose, as they have allowed you to remain on the craft, knowing full well that this voyage you would not be working. Well, at least not for them. Instead, you're going to be working for the crew of the Courtesan as they come in. You're going to be working with them, and you know the plan. Acquire the package at all costs. Quiet's better than loud, but loud if you must. And as you're sitting there thinking about all of these things, the whirl, what's going through 3-gun's mind as he realizes this is going to be his first moments back in action after a long hiatus?
He just thinks that he wanted to leave this life behind a long time ago. Where's a little pendant to remember it by? Little bear eating honey.
Okay. And as far as his life here and the fact that he has been living legitimately without any type of criminal affiliation or criminal augmentation to his salary, does he have regrets that he's going back into this underworld life, or is this more comforting than it is foreign?
A little bit of both. You know, it's something familiar, something he's done a great deal of his life, but he wanted to leave it behind, and being pulled back in gives him a mix of emotion. But you know what? Money's good, and money makes the day go by.
Money does have that effect on people. And as you have been described or been given descriptions of the crew of the Courtesan, you from your perch at the top of the Bella Rose are able to look down where all of these very fine passengers are walking up this very fine ramp onto this very fine boat. And there you see them as they get off. A few of them stick out a bit as sore thumbs, but you see them as they approach the crew of the Courtesan. And if you could give me, what is the first thought that goes through your mind when you see this crew walking towards you and you know they're to be your partners for the next however long it takes?
Now, they don't look like much, but they've been hired to do a job, I guess. And I guess they've got the tools to get it done.
And with that, an uneasy truce begins.
Take my love, take my land, take me where I cannot stand. I don't care, I'm still free. You can't take the sky from me. Take me out to the black, tell 'em I ain't coming back. Burn the land, boil the sea. You can't take the sky from me. There's no place I can be since I found serenity. And you can't take the sky from me.
Well, me how, everybody, we're back. And as the camera leaves Three Gun upon his perch at the top of the Bella Rose and begins to track back down to more familiar folk, and we follow the gaze of Three Gun with the camera as the camera spins, as we see Harriet, Dr. Rutherford, Lo Xiao Li, Felix, and Bai as they exit their public transportation or private car as Badger's gotten for them, and they get out. They have all of their equipment with them. But the thing I didn't ask the crew, and the thing that I will ask them now is this. Is Elizabeth with you?
Oh, hell no. Hell no. There's no way. There's no way I'm letting that kid get on this. She.
Who's gonna watch her though?
By herself for like X amount of days.
Oh,
Zhao Li would recommend taking Elizabeth with.
I would as well.
kids
That would be
do
her
have a way
preference.
with people. But they also can make people clam up in a situation. I'm a rock, paper, scissors for not watching the kid. I'm sorry. This is too much advantage to be had. Not doing it.
No watching the kid.
She's well behaved. She'll stay in a room if we ask her to nicely.
Yeah, I'm worried about people going and getting her, though. She's kind of been
And you're
noticed.
not worried about people going into the Firefly that's been broken into multiple times and getting her there for
Yeah.
alone for multiple days. Yeah, no. Just come with us.
Okay, fine.
So Elizabeth is with you as she steps out of the
Yes.
car.
And Zhao Li would have given her like instructions like we're going to go on this. You're gonna have to be very well behaved, you know, very proper. She would have given her instructions on how to behave when out in the public eye, but you can do whatever you want in your room, kind of thing.
Okay. And I assume that with the events of some of the past episodes with the wardrobe that has been purchased here on Persephone,
Yes.
that the former country girl, for lack of a horrific title, Elizabeth is now dressed to the nines. Does she
Yes.
look like anybody? Is she dressed like Harriet? Is she
She's-
dressed like one of the
She's
other
dolled
crew
up.
members?
She's not quite as nicely dressed. Zhao Li is wearing like her finest right now. She's got on her jewelry. She looks dressed to impress. Elizabeth would be dressed more like a lady in waiting type thing.
Okay.
So very nice as well, complementary colors, but not quite as fine.
Like almost like a student ward or a
Yes.
like an apprentice. Okay.
Mhm.
Same colors, like more modest and everything.
Yes.
Right. Okay. Obviously, and she's a child. So
Mhm.
gotcha. But she's also like a little miniature human being then, as she kind of walks with Lo Xiao Li almost in a servitude, like an assistant capacity as she is helping. All right, so you guys walk out onto the docks. You can see where people are being ushered on board, and there's music playing, and there is a band with there's piping in an orchestral feel to this entire area, as even out here on the dock there are servants and wait staff that are going around serving fruits and foods and drinks. There is an entire bar set up here for people that want to wait out in the open air before going into the Bella Rose. Some people were taking them up on it. There doesn't seem to be any activities out here, like there's no gambling or card games or anything like that, but they're definitely being provided for with entertainment by the aforementioned music and the food, drink, and beverages being served. So you all may linger about here, or you may get on board the craft, do whatever you would like. The floor is yours.
All right. Let me ask my husband, Felix.
Oh.
Would you take me along on this ice? Like, would you be afraid of things like, what we're doing here? Would you be afraid for this? Like, because I probably spoke to you. In fact, let's do it real quick. Like, I probably spoke to you like, I'm having second thoughts about this. I'm not comfortable doing this. I don't know how to shoot. This is crazy.
Like, Felix is in the process of strapping an extra sort of couple of cylinders for his revolver.
Yeah, totally. You're totally like doing the spinning thing and loading it. Yeah. Checking the sights and stuff. Yeah, totally. Yeah.
Absolutely. Like he's like it's partially disassembled in front of him.
I'm like holding it upside down. Like I don't know what to do.
He's a methodical kind of guy, but he will turn around and he takes by his hand and just says, this is going to be one of those more exciting adventures, as we have a lot of variables on the table, but you've always known being with me was a bit of a risk. I won't make
Really? The only thing I know being with you is that you never take me out to our Goram dinner anymore,
Well,
like you promise.
that being said, from what I understand, this is high society. And high society begets fine catering.
How come we're wrecking all these high society things instead of dancing and being among them? When's that life going to take in effect? That life you promised me.
When we go and do crime, there are generally several stages. The first stage is integrating the
Why do
local population and
You're so blasé. Do crime. Look at me. I'm Mr. Do Crime. That's what I do. Aren't you embarrassed? At all? Don't you want something better? This is crazy. What we do. You're
Felix
making me be
actually-
a part of it. You're making the love of your life be a part of it.
Felix like pauses and sets down his gun cleaning tools, sort of.
That's what you want to be, Mr. and Mr. Crime? Mr. and Mr. Crime Pants?
When was the last time you and I felt comfortable day to day with regards to supplies, with fuel, with keeping the ship in running order, with pretty much anything that we do?
Oh, I know it's getting harder and harder. But I got to hold on to the hope that this is not as good as it's going to get. You know that, Mr. Crime Pants? Now come here. You have your shirt misbuttoned.
Felix stands and he smiles despite himself, and he just sort of like
I can't have you going out there doing crimes looking like a hoodlum in this high society.
Felix just licks his thumb, wipes a tiny bit of sort of cleaning oil from the gun that sort of you picked up, and
Yeah.
just like while you're stressed, rubbed against your temple, and he just brushes it off. And
All right.
when we went to see Wild Bill, in that room, you looked after me. I'm gonna look after you.
You better.
Now,
You better promise me. Promise me right now that you're going to look after me.
I
Promise.
But first things first, you need to be capable of looking after yourself as well. You're a strong, independent man, after all. So we need to arm you. So drop your pants.
And I think we probably go to the next scene.
And as we
Perfect.
cut
That's
away
perfect.
from right,
Yeah.
and so as we cut back after that comment, we flash forward to the present as the rest of the crew is now gathered. Whenever you talk, everyone, if your character is dressed differently than they normally would be, if they've maybe fancied themselves up a bit, please let me know. I'm already assuming that Lo Jiao Li, after her description of what Elizabeth was wearing, is dressed to the nines. Everyone else, let me know. But you have your choice now of staying on the dock or kind of getting to work on the Bella Rose.
The doctor is he's dressed to the nine. He has his nice long coat on, black, kind of like a nice kind of like a dark navy tie, white underneath, nice shiny shoes. He's even wearing a nice stylized cap with some nice cufflinks on the inside as well, on his shirt. And I think this is one of those moments where he's enjoying himself more than he should. And he's gonna go in and just peruse the kind of area, maybe get some food, get some drink, just kind of see on display.
Excellent, excellent. So, as far as a physical appearance, the Doctor looks like he fits in with this high society crowd, but even with an emotional or a mental approach, he seems to be more at ease then. So that's conveyed as well in his carriage and whatnot? Okay.
Yes, definitely.
Awesome, awesome.
Felix looks prim and proper, sharp, tidy, clean. He's freshly shaven. His hair is slicked back in a no-nonsense sort of way. He isn't openly armed, but he does carry his revolver tucked sort of on his inside his jacket. His jacket is sort of a one of those high, the Chinese high collar, charcoal grey kind of jacket, and it matches his dress pants, and underneath he just wears a simple, freshly pressed white shirt. There's no insignia, there's no jewelry, there's no bling, there's nothing like that. He just looks very clean cut. I'm really interested. Indulge me. Tell me about how beautiful my husband looks.
So you remember that time we went shopping a couple weeks ago in Persephone?
Oh, I'm so excited.
Yeah, I picked up something nice there. I got a nice little. I'm a very good dresser, but I always dress understatedly. I'm not very flashy. I'm wearing something a little bit more, very like tight fitting. Typically like a plain kind of like starch white shirt and just a really cool stylized black vest with I think maybe some sort of like rose motif or some sort of like floral pattern like inlaid like black on black. It's probably you know what it is? It's daffodils. It's this daffodil emblazoned, and I loved it because I used to grow daffodils a lot, and it reminded me of home. It's pretty fucking perfect.
Like
so there you go. How there's my indulgence.
Can I?
Can we match?
Oh my god! Right. So here's how this works.
Yeah.
Can you have a waistcoat that matches your tie, and can I steal the tie? So we have a tie that my tie matches your waistcoat.
Yeah. I'm 100.
Yes.
Yeah.
I love you, Eric.
Yep. That's perfect. 100%. I was gonna literally suggest the exact same thing you just said, which is crazy. I was like, you totally have the tie that would go to my like outfit.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, this is perfect.
Okay, so with the matching outfits, Mr. Do Crime and Mr. Crime Pants walk into the docks here as they are looking pretty sweet, which leaves us with one member of the crew, Harriet. How is Harriet dressed? Who usually dresses utilitarian for whatever job that she currently has, for comfort and for activity. Is she dressed up?
How many ruffles?
So Harriet is still no makeup, her hair curly blonde, nothing has changed. You seen that dress from Resident Evil that's like red and then she's got like the black shorts underneath? Yep. So that's as close to fancy as Harriet's going to be able to muster. She's still wearing black flat boots. She will not get into heels. She has her revolver on one hip, her giant knife on the other, and a dart gun concealed underneath one part of her dress. And in her bra, she has 2 vials of something that her and the doctor whipped up on the way here, kind of knockout things. So no, Harriet does not walk in with the grace of her crew. She, as soon as she steps onto the boat, is just like, you can already tell that she fucking hates every minute of this. She sees the bar and her eyes light up for a second before she realizes that she's on the job. And she lets everybody else kind of take the lead on this one.
Okay, so as you are in there, just as the doctor seems to be very comfortable with the scenario, Harriet is the opposite, as she is just not feeling any of this. So once again, with 3 Gun perched above, witnessing all of these people described as they just described them, Cody, you guys are going to have the opportunity now to go on the boat. Is that what you would like to do?
Yes.
Okay. So as you guys get to the boat, what ends up happening is just in front of you, when it comes to be your turn, there's kind of like a holding area where they, allow you to come in. They kind of give you a grip of poker chips that are kind of complimentary to start playing. Just a bunch of, here's the sites, here's when dinner's being arranged. Then you kind of go up and you're introduced as you go into the gangplank of the boat. The person that's queued up at the gangplank is screaming. And you hear this gentleman saying, "This is an outrage. I demand my cabin, my chips, and my whores as per my standing arrangement. Do you know who I am, boy?" And there is a younger gentleman who is standing there dressed as one of the wait staff, white jacket buttoned to the collar with brass or gold buttons that run down the front, holding like a hollow pad as he is calmly and not engaging this gentleman as he is crossing off and just kind of doing work and seeming to allow the man to vent, but is not engaging him as to promote further aggression. The man that is yelling seems to be in his mid to late 30s. He's finely dressed. He has healing or still kind of darkened bruises on his face, and his arm is in a sling. He's also kind of favoring his core, gingerly like a man that has been recently wounded. And finally, after this kind of barrage of abuse, the steward looks up and says, "Yes, Lord Wing, I am aware, but Sir Warwick Harrow and Lord Kenneth Murphy stand on this vessel's board of directors. They have suspended your travel privileges for a term of 90 days, upon which you may file for a review." File for review? You tell that fat Hoondan Warwick to come down here, waddle himself down here, and tell that to me face to face. And then the steward says, "Good day, Lord Wing." And he turns to you all. "Yes, how may I help you?" And the man moves forward, butts in front of you all, and says, "I will have satisfaction before you deal with this Gosa."
Hey, Greg. Oh,
Yeah.
seeing this, this man trying to barge into what I call my home, I'm gonna walk my way down, because frankly, Free Guns isn't here, being a cook or an engineer. He's here being a bodyguard now.
Okay, you're at the top of the boat. It'll take you just a few minutes to get down here as you're kind of going against the grain a bit, 3-Gun, but you can keep eyes on him the whole way because the stairways are exterior on this boat. So you're watching this go down as the crew. You are face to face with this gentleman. It is Atherton Wing.
Oh, honey, I don't think you want to address Miss Lo Zhao Li as Gosa. Does that name seem to spark anything for him? Worked
He
for me in the
doesn't-
past. I'm gonna try it again.
He sees that you're kind of referring to somebody, and his eyes dart over to Lo Zhao Li, but he just shakes his head. "I don't care who you are." Now he turns back and he goes,
You're gonna
wouldn't let
care
me on
because if
this
you
boat."
talk like that again to my lady, I'm gonna put my fist where your face currently resides.
He turns around and peacocks up despite having a wing and a sling. And you immediately get the idea that this man has a bearing that is not used to being spoken to pleasantly, let alone spoken to the way that you've just done so. I'm going to need you to do the following.
Harriet thinks in the back of her head, like, why did I open my mouth?
I'm going to need you to roll a social, Harriet, and this is going to be an influence. So social and influence as I roll for Atherton. Okay, so Atherton scotches his roll a bit as you are able to And perhaps it is the wounds that he has been apparently recently delivered, as he looks and kind of backs a bit from what's going on, but he doesn't seem to be leaving his spot. And it seems as if the only way to progress your journey is to have this man in front of you not be there. As he just turns back and begins to berate this man. The man is touching the core pad, and as he's touching his hollow pad, several of the wrist devices that the remaining staff wears begin to light, and 3-gun, yours would be lighting around your wrist area. It is usually a call for security.
No, security's already on his way.
Okay,
Just
so
let me know when I arrive.
I will. I want reactions from the rest of the crew to see what they would like to do. Oh, Mr. Do Crime, everybody, have felt the need for a midstream costume change. So much like Janet Jackson, or he is just.
I love you so much.
Okay, so the rest of you see Harriet have this tense exchange. The rest of you are right there as you guys are all queuing to get on board. Are you allowing Atherton to impede your progress, or are you waiting for the powers that be to take control of the situation?
Zhaoli is curious as to the response time of the security, so her plan is to let this play out and kind of catch the eye of the guy who is like sitting there with like the docket waiting for people to go on, and kind of be like, give him like an exasperated look, like, oh, this gentleman, you're like kind of like a sympathetic exasperated look, like, oh man, these people, this guy, right?
Okay, anybody else doing anything, or are you conveying this to everyone else, Lo, that maybe we should just let this play out?
Yeah,
or...
she's gonna kind of like give like a low symbol with her hand, like kind of like just
the hands
like kind of just
okay.
like kind of like but wait, like low, so it's not very obvious. No one will notice it except unless they're in the group. Kind of just like let this play out. Let's see how long response time is.
Okay, so go ahead. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, I think in response to that, I think the doctor kind of like gets on walks to the side a bit, so he kind of has like the other view. Kind of takes out like a silver case and like a cigarette or like a small thin cigar, lights it, and just reaches into his pocket and takes like a pocket watch.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I think I'm probably at this moment in time, maybe I'm closest to the doctor, and I just kind of mutter on my breath, being like, can't do this. I'm out. And what do you do, doctor? What do you do to convince me to stay and like get me back on track and like stick on the mission?
I turn over to you and goes, oh, come on now, bye. Haven't you been saying that...
Holding your cigar lit?
Yeah,
Totally. Yeah.
Haven't you been saying that Felix doesn't take you out anywhere fancy? Well, look at this. It's the fanciest place we've been. The place has been tripe everywhere else. Live a little. Let yourself go. Have fun.
And I slunk back into like turning around and being like,
I offer you like a cigar.
Yeah. Oh yeah. You owe me a cigar, and I start choking on it because I don't know how to smoke a cigar. Love it.
I'm going to just take the cigar.
Yeah. Yeah, 'cause I'm like holding. I'm like.
Yeah. And I pull out some matches, light the cigar, and nod appreciatively to the good doctor, who I'm presuming has good taste in cigars.
Yeah, they
going
are.
out on a limb, yeah. And I'm just going to slip my arm casually through my husband's arm and just hold him close and put one hand sort of on his shoulder. And I'm going to make it look like I'm holding on to him, sort of like in that kind of endearing sort of way of sort of, you know, thank you, almost as if sort of like he's thanking by for bringing him here. That's what he's trying to broadcast. But really, like, as he does it, he turns, and as he whispers, I love you, in his ear, I'm going to actually be watching over by his shoulder and just do a quick sweep to see who's around. Don't get me, I love my husband, but I told him I would protect him. I can do both at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so
yeah, and he's committed. Yeah.
Okay, so what we'll do is, as everyone is kind of, Harriet's just had this exchange with Atherton Wing, as the doctor is casually lighting a cigar and talking everybody off the ledge with some impeccable boatside manner, and as Mr. Do Crime and Mr. Crime Pants are again having this Tom Hanks, Meg Ryan exchange. What we'll do is, as we go back and you're sitting there observing everything.
Yeah.
It is
Just
actually
making it look
Felix.
like I'm casually looking around, but I'm
Right. Felix, you're the one, as you're kind of getting a different angle on all of this, but staying close, that you see one of the stewards go up to Elizabeth and kind of lean down and say, "Now, young lady, who are you?" And she leans forward and she says, "Elizabeth." And he says, "And your last name?" "Lowe. Elizabeth Lowe." And you hear that as it pulls back. Now, what you see, Lo Jiali, is as the response time is going on, you notice that there's lights going on in these wrist kind of devices that they have. But what you would see at this point is, as two gentlemen are beginning to come down the gangplank from the Bella Rose, a taller, tanned man comes down that is not necessarily dressed like staff, but as soon as the staff sees this person, they part and allow him to come down the gangplank. As Three Gun, you make it down there and you saddle up next to the person that Atherton Wing is screaming at. Atherton Wing takes no mind of your arrival. "So you are going to let me on this boat, or I am going to put an end to this place. Do you understand? My money will stop this from going anywhere."
Oh, look, sweetie, the muscle's here.
You are muted, I think, buddy.
And now I'm gonna punch him in the stomach.
Okay. So
Harriet starts applauding right away.
okay, so what I'm going to do is, this is a base. He is going to have, I can pick a base roll of a 7 for him, as he is wounded and hurt beyond what you believe. So what I would like you to roll is
It's already rolled.
Oh, you already got it done?
Mhm.
Okay. So with a 14, you hit him in the stomach. Every breath that he has taken for that day goes somewhere else, as it just his yelling ceases. There are snickers throughout the elite crowd that know very well who Atherton Wing is. And as this punch takes him just below the solar plexus, he begins to spin and totter towards the water, where the bulwark leaves and goes down into the actual river.
I grab him, make sure he doesn't fall off, because I gotta have a small conversation with him about a little bit of, etiquette on this boat.
Okay, he just is about ready to go over when you grab him by the sling. And as you grab him by the sling and pull him back, anybody that's from the side, Felix and Lowe, you would see his wrist go up to his throat as the sling is pulled and tightened across the front. And as he comes back, he again, the first sound he makes is a groan of pain, whether it's from the punch or the fact that his wounded arm was just wrenched upwards into his throat. And as he spins back around, that arrogance has been tempered by the cooling waters of exquisite pain. And so with this violence enacted on this man, you have a moment to say something to him, as he has not enough breath to construct syllables.
I'm gonna pull out that very ornate third gun, put it right underneath his chin. Now listen to me, I don't know who you are, I don't really care. You stepping onto my boat, you conduct yourself with manners. You know what manners are, right? Yeah, I understand. Right now, underneath your chin is my favorite gun. He cocks the hammer back. It's a single action pistol. I let this go, your head explodes because it's loaded with shotgun shells. All right? Now, I want you to walk down this gangplank after apologizing to this nice young man who's just doing his job, and get on back to where you came from. You understand me? Good, we got an understanding. Put the pistol back up. Turn him towards the man. Now, what do you got to say for yourself?
He stumbles the few steps up the gangplank that he had kind of made it, and as he gets next to the steward, he turns, and while he doesn't apologize, it's not because he doesn't want to or he's not complying. He simply can't. As he looks,
This man apologizes to all of y'all.
Harriet is checking out his weapon at this point, like with hungry eyes.
yeah, it's a nice one. And Atherton Wing will kind of creep back down as the entire, all the aristocrats that were left outside on the dock smoking and drinking turn as one, and you can see the collective nose raising as all of them are just staring as if it's almost as if this man is chum in the water. He's bleeding. It is time to go in for the kill. You're not sure what happened recently that may have brought this kind of state upon Atherton Wing, but whatever happened, it seems to have been compounded by the arrival of Three Gun as he nods and then ducks his head and quits the area. You see him go off towards the parked private cars.
Now, everyone, sorry for the delays. Let's get this line moving again as he goes back on the boat.
As he says all that, I look over to the good doctor, who I know had his pocket watch out.
Well, and I kind of like look at it. How long was the response time?
It was just about 25, 26 seconds, but you think it would have been a little bit quicker if they hadn't seen Three Gun coming, because a couple of them peeled back before they actually got to Atherton. And also, it seemed like this was something they were used to and sort of didn't realize this was going to be like a bad scene, but one that was going to be more annoying. There wasn't a lot of rushing towards the area.
Okay. Yeah, I'll kind of like glance over at the pocket watch because, you know, he's just casually holding it while smoking a cigar, and she's going to say, "My fourth husband loved cigars. To the boat?"
Yes.
I think I just fell in love. She says, watching the security guy walk off.
As you guys go in, kind of leading the way, being taken by some of the stewards as they go in that just happen to be entering the boat at the same time, bringing in trays of empty glasses and things like that. Elizabeth goes in, and it's through her eyes that we see the next scene as we travel up the gangplank, the crew of the Courtesan behind, Three Gun a few steps ahead at the top of the boat. And as this young girl gets to the top of what is her first and only boating experience, she walks aboard the Bella Rose and is immediately struck by the sheer opulence of everything. There is gold or gold-like material that seems to be lining the wood, and everything is just clean to a gleam as the boards themselves seem stained and sealed with a gloss and a lacquer. And just inside from the gangplank is an opulent room that you can tell is probably decorated and could have been a ballroom of some renown. But this one, while it does hold a dance floor, also holds several tables where games of chance are being played. And in this area, befitting one of the highest of casinos, is also a feel of aristocratic nobility, as everything is done not with the idea of facilitating the gamble, but the idea of facilitating the winner, as everything here is for winners, provided to those that have already made it. And the girl looks around, her eyes dancing, as this entire area, spinning chandeliers and all, is quite a sight to see. And the rest of you, welcome to the Bella Rose.
My eyes trace nervously over to Bai for a second, and I'm just like, You want some champagne, honey?
Yes, I would love. Yeah, that'd be great.
I'm gonna walk him over to the nearest waiter because I'm betting that I've probably caught on your sketchiness at this point.
Oh yeah. It looks skittish as heck right now. I look like a deer in headlights right now, like at this huge opulent place.
So if I can just grab a glass and put it in his hand, because I want the physical connection between us, honey.
Yeah.
Honey, I love you so much, and you make the universe's finest dumplings. I want you to drink just enough, but not too much, you know what I'm saying?
And the camera pans over to me, and I'm holding an empty champagne glass.
Damn. Well, all right then.
I just
Do
gotta
we
let it
have any means of communications between us at all? Would we have thought about any kind of? Because I'm assuming we're not all going to be staying together.
Well, that's the rub. While guns are allowed and weapons are allowed here on the Bella Rose, no communication devices are allowed because this
Sure,
is high
cheating.
stakes gambling and you can't have somebody looking over somebody's shoulder for being able to cheat. So you will notice now that any core pads that you might have, like the one that the Kyoto 6.0 that was acquired at the end of last episode, and actually was given back. No, it was acquired again at the end of last
And then
episode.
turned into a weapon of death.
Right. It is anything like that, any type of Cortex device. There are special Cortex stations where if you need to log on or do something like that, it can be done from your room. But the gambling floor itself is nothing works in here. It's almost as if you've traveled back in time. And anything with a signal that might carry is gone. However, it appears that the bracelets that the security guards wear and that 3-Gun has on do work.
So is my earpiece gone?
Anything that is giving you any type of reading has ceased to exist as soon as you've walked into this area. So if there was a feed coming through, it's
like
gone.
a Faraday cage, like no signals in or out. It's
Correct. It's like walking into a localized EMP.
I think the doctor kind of walks in, and kind of looks towards Felix, and I just kind of go, well, I can like ring my ear a bit. That's disconcerting.
Anything you can do about that, sweetheart?
Well, if everything's being switched off, I would have to find the device.
I think that we should cozy on up to that security and see what we can find out what's going on with these eyes in the sky.
At this point, 3-Gun, you're not necessarily close to the crew, but the rest of the crew, you guys would now know that the description that you were given of 3-Gun seems to match the security guard that just blasted every ounce of Atmo out of the lungs of Atherton Wing. He is leaning over by the doorway. He's seen this all before.
Honey, can I see that piece one more time? It was just so exquisite. I'm sorry, gun, weapon. What's the fancy word for gun, Miss Lowe, Charlene?
firearm.
Your firearm?
You speak with him. I'm going to look around.
Harriet's gonna start walking over to 3-Gun. She's gonna do one of her own kind of like, I can't actually do the cowboy thing where she like whips it around and puts hers back in.
Oh, please don't tell me you're drawing a weapon on in the middle of a casino. Please, please. Oh my god.
True, good point.
Harriet, as if luck or Lady Luck herself has reached down and Frank Sinatra from the earth that was has kind of, you feel just lucky in this place. You feel really good. And something about that might have to do with Whitethorn, who is just giving you 8 plot points to use should you be required to use them.
I'm feeling lucky tonight. So lucky tonight. Thank you, Whitethorn.
I'm just gonna write down. You have 8. You have 10 total because I'm not putting 10 on the screen.
Yeah, wow.
I want you to assume for the rest of the episode I use plot points, like just
Yeah,
for
I'll get.
everything.
Nice,
The best
nice,
thing
nice.
is they are poker chips, so it just works so well for a casino.
Absolutely. So yeah, you are blessed as you feel this. 3-Gun, she has asked to see your prized possession. I don't necessarily believe that Harriet was asking to hold it, but just to kind of see it in its exposed glory again, correct?
Yeah, no, she loves weapons. That is a fine looking firearm.
You mean this piece right here? Fing mei jing meow. He pulls out his prize pistol and actually hands it to her.
Oh, she, she gives it a look. She obviously doesn't point it around the casino because she's not an idiot. Hey. Yeah, no, pretty much. She would if outside. Now, that is simply amazing. Much better than this. She looks at the thing on her hip, hands it over. It's nothing fancy. She's the best that I've got at the moment. At least they still provide the same desired effect, but well, you put that gentleman right in his place right quick, and that is just the finest thing I've ever seen.
That's what happens when you threaten a man's home.
Harriet, you would also notice from
Have the vapors.
Harriet, you would also notice from being able to actually hold Three Guns' gun that it's lighter than what you thought it would be. And because of your expertise with firearms, you realize right away that his claim that it was holding shells beneath in its chamber when he was talking to Atherton Wing is not a claim but a fact, as the shells that rotate around in this rig are actually filled with shot, albeit smaller than a shotgun shot, but shot nonetheless, and produced at a much faster velocity than perhaps from a regular shotgun. So this is, yeah. Yeah.
I don't suppose with all your abilities and authority on this ship that we wouldn't be able to fire a couple off the back end now, would we?
You haven't. Yeah, there is a shooting range of skeet off the back of the boat. So.
Well, there's work to be done.
Yeah, but we got 3 days.
Yeah.
And 3 guns.
I wouldn't mind walking around the ship and trying to figure out who is undercover guards, I guess, as well as distinguishing guests from authority, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Right. Let's just say this for the sake of a hand wave and maybe getting some narrative done. It's later in the afternoon and the evening progresses as the Bella Star loads up and drifts away from the dock and begins to paddle through this kind of straight river in Persephone. And as all of this begins to occur, you guys can do several things. You can get loaded into your rooms. You each have been given rooms that can have 2 people in it. Let me know how you would like to have that broken down. Three Gun has his own cabin because he is staff. But in answer to you, Harriet, about going around and kind of picking out the undercover, you walk around with Three Gun, he can tell you everybody and what they're doing and where they do it and how they walk around. So you guys can get staff patterns and security patterns, and all of that can be an asset until the end of this episode that you all can use at a D8. And that is, I know this boat. And that is also what Three Gun has. So you all have an asset of a D8 if you can use it in whatever manner you see fit.
Can he tell us about Mandy Sandoval and where he likes to hang out?
The only thing that he would be able to tell you about Manny is that Manny arrives after the ship has left, he leaves before the ship is docked, and he gambles the whole time he's there. Never sleeps.
That's freaky.
Never sleeps.
Never sleeps.
Now listen, Harriet, as you're walking around, you feel like you're home. I mean, it just doesn't get any better than this, as you are comfortable. As soon as Three Gun points out an area, it just feels like, okay, I've got this on lock. I know. And when you round a corner, you're like, oh, we're going by room 303 again. Boom, room 303. You've got the layout down. You've got this place. You've got it footprinted. It's almost like it's the courtesan. And once again, as White Thorn Sinatra comes down, you are gifted with another 8 plot points as the Bella Rose.
I'm Manny's table right now. I'm gonna sit down next to this guy. Miss Lojolie, can I borrow some money for some gambling? I'm just feeling hot tonight.
While she's getting the tour of the ship and getting to know it very quickly, very intimately, Shelly's gonna be scanning the people. While they get to know the ship, she's gonna get to know the people. She's gonna see how many and if she recognizes people and how many of them she does, and kind of mingle, kind of start to get to know the layout of the atmosphere, who's who and who's here, and where Manny would be most likely to start gambling once he does arrive.
I think the doctor would be doing that with you as well.
Okay.
Okay, so as you go around and you're looking at everything, the funny thing is, Lo, you don't recognize anybody from this kind of Persephone elite that you've seen in your circles before, except for one man. Sort of a taller, rounder gentleman. He has a red sash that goes over one shoulder and across the down by his hip, denoting his knighthood. You realized and remembered this man's name as being Sir Warwick Harrow, and he is the only one that kind of peaks up on your no meter. Everybody else just seems to be
Okay. Cool. She would definitely, as is only polite, reintroduce herself to Mr. Harrow, or Sir Harrow. And
Yes, my lady.
It's quite some time since I have seen you at an event. It's been some time since I've been on Persephone. How have things been?
Profitable. Doing some business now as we speak.
Oh, really? You think promising?
Just cattle.
Well, cattle can be profitable in the right places. I hope your deal goes through as planned.
As do I, my dear. Are you here with your husband?
Unfortunately, he's passed. Terrible accident.
Oh, I hate to hear that. Let me get you a drink. And he offers you his arm as you realize he is not wearing a wedding ring or a bracelet or any other denotation of marriage.
She'll take his arm.
And Sir Warwick Harrow takes you over to the bar and makes a show of getting in before everybody else, as his sash seems to have privileges. Also, it appears that he is perhaps a bit of an owner on the boat.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm gonna chat him up about the boat, see what I can glean about. I'm like, oh, you have a share in this boat, and it's quite nice. I booked a room here as soon as I heard about it.
Yes, the Bella Rose is a fantastic vessel. You will have a fantastic time. There's gambling, there's dancing, the finest of food on Persephone, everything that's in season and those that aren't. We even had someone bring mangoes in from the core.
Oh, what a treat.
Yes.
Fortunate I was able to book a room just in the nick of time before leaving.
Yes. And so to once again hand wave this, you're able to glean a bit of information from Sir Warwick Harrow. And what I would like for you to do is, if you roll me a social and an influence, you're going to be rolling against his social and influence, and we'll see just how much he'll give you.
Can I use my third distinction?
Yes.
Okay. So that's a D2.
Ooh, you got him.
Tell me more.
Okay, so as he gets a complication, you get a plot point from him. So that gives you a third plot point as he's yours. You may get any information, and whereas Three Gun
I beat
can
him by more than 5 too.
you get I was gonna say you get a big damn hero die. And also, so this is in the matter of a few hours, the crew of the Courtesan has acquired the following. An asset of a D8 value from 3 Gun that says, I know this boat. So any of the staff or any of the service areas of the boat, you will roll with a D8 asset. Thanks to Harriet, or thanks to Lo Jiao Li, you have a D8 asset for all of the aristocrats on the boat, as Sir Warwick Harrow, being also an owner of the boat, is going to be able to give you the information and the access that you need for those people. As long as you're in his presence, it will work.
Okay.
So that's 2 for you guys. What would you like to do? It is now dinner time.
As Lee had gone off, and I was going around with her, I think I just before the dinner time had gone up, or whenever it starts, I think the doctor would have gone around the gambling areas. And depending on when it kicks off, he would have gone around, just kind of looked around. He wouldn't have gambled or anything, but would have looked around the card tables, and anything that has a good amount of handling, and he just would have like watched. But he's gonna go around and he's gonna start counting cards and summarizing probabilities of success.
Okay, so you'll learn right away that there looks like that this would be the equivalent of a Vegas, like a 3-deck draw, as they're pulling out of a sleeve. So it cuts down on the ability to actually count probabilities. But because the doctor is the doctor, I will allow you to make a mental and how about a focus here? Or mental and focus, or mental and notice. Depending upon, and just your roll alone, I'll let you know if that'll help you.
I think I'll do focus with my special kind of a keen mind.
Okay.
Because that's in focus. So I'm intently kind of looking in it, counting the cards, kind of getting used to the hand drawn. And even with the hand drawn, there's still there's only a variation of how many cards can be shuffled so many times. So I'm going to do that.
Okay, yeah, and so what we'll do is, instead of getting into the ins and outs of actually counting cards, you're just going to make your roll, and we'll see how much you know.
Would my third distinction work on that as well?
I
haven't bumped it up yet, but it's there.
Let me get you. Yep. Oh, yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, cool.
I forgot what that was.
Okay, cool. I believe that is a D8 for my now.
Yep.
The specifications are a D6, right? Just so I can remember.
Yep.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
Okay, so this was not a roll, opposed roll, so the 1 doesn't count against you. It's not going to be a complication. The 2 highest rolls from it is a 14, so I will mark that you have a 14. So if at any point in the future, if somebody is rolling something that the doc might notice as far as the cards go and might aid you in actually playing, it's against your base 14. Okay?
Okay.
So that's what you kind of banked that little ability, that DC now, as the doc walks around. You're feeling good about the Bella Rose. This place is great. You know, Harriet's walking on sunshine, 3 guns punching aristocrats and getting away with it. You know, Bai's in a nice place.
I'm literally dancing around at certain points, like to my own invisible music. Like,
okay, so to get back to everybody else, here's what I would like to do. Unless there's anything else anybody wants to do, we're going to cut, and we're going to go to what would be considered the dinner service, which is in the on the ballroom side of the main room. You guys are all invited to dinner. Really, there's not that many people on the Bella Rose. You would probably think there's between like 80 and 100 guests. As you guys are all brought in, we're going to say that Felix and Bai get here first as the grandeur continues.
where do I think is since I know this boat so well now, where do I think is the most likely place that Manny is going to board from? Is there anywhere below decks where he could come up, like in a submarine type of situation? If he did come, would he be coming on like a speedboat somewhere? Would he be airdropping in? Like, if I was going to try and sneak on this boat, how would I do it? I guess is a better question.
You do know that there is a flat hover pad on the top of the boat. But again, when he arrives, nobody has ever seen a vehicle.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's submersible.
That's
submersible, man. Which is problematic, because I tell you right now, I can fly a ship. I know nothing about subs.
All right, well, let's get to dinner, guys.
I am going to, while Bai is setting up the room, unpacking. I will tell Bai that I'm going to go get drinks and just set a few things in motion. I tell him not to worry in any way. I tell him to relax, have a shower, sort of get himself freshen up, everything like that. Because shower and it's, everything. And I am going to go and find Lo Zhao And can I sequester you away for one moment, Miss Shaoli?
I thought you were a married man.
I am, indeed. That's actually what I came to speak to you about.
Marriage advice.
Of course. And I'm going to sort of look at Eric looking super fucking nervous right now.
I look like a rabbit right now, like just like a terrified rabbit. Yeah.
Like
Yes.
this happens away from you.
I've been married several
course.
times.
Michelle Lee, I was wondering, with your considerable influence, if you could arrange something for me.
What would you like arranged?
This is somewhat of a special occasion,
Mm-hmm.
and though he doesn't think that I remember it, this is actually mine and Bai's anniversary.
Oh, wonderful day indeed.
Hence his apprehension of everything, and, well, he probably is under the impression that I have forgotten. I don't have the best track record with making a big song and dance out of everything, so I was wondering if perhaps, just for once, this could be something a little bit more memorable.
Of course. How many years have you been together?
Well, how many years would it have been? How long have we been on the ship? That's a question for Greg and Eric. Because
it would have been
no, but I
7 years, six or 7 years. Yeah.
7. I'll say 7. Yeah, I'll say 7. It's been 7 years,
Lucky number.
indeed. So,
Well. Do you have anything specific in mind, or just something nicer than the formal dinner?
a formal dinner, but I also had something of an announcement.
Oh. Well, do you wish it to be public, or should I have something arranged for a surprise in your rooms later?
Ooh.
You'll definitely be surprised.
Oh God, I genuinely,
Do it.
I don't know if public is a good idea. I don't want to put him on the spot.
He's so squirrely right now.
I can just see him off in the corners. You guys are having this discussion, like awkwardly turning to the right, just trying to find something to focus on all the time.
Perhaps a private celebration would be more fitting for his
Yes,
current agitated mood.
yes, that would be wonderful.
Certainly.
Thank you.
I will bribe the staff. And I'll go be like to the staff, tell them
The grease
Basically-
palm.
she probably would describe let's see here. We're on a gambling ship. She's gonna describe basically what she did for her 2nd year anniversary with her second husband, and be like, replicate this in this room number, and be like, here's money to the staff, and have them put something nice together, you know, special little after dessert with wine and sparklers, and like number 7 prominently displayed in certain like decorations and stuff.
Elizabeth has. I could help do that.
If you would like to, it would be wonderful. I'm sure Bai and Felix would appreciate the surprise.
Okay. And she kind of goes off with the stewards, who kind of look back and nod like, we'll watch her. you know.
Yeah, I give them like the you better, like guys.
Without that, they immediately kind of look and are like, it's, you know, this is our job. Everything's fine. Three Gun, where are you right now as the crew seems to be settling in? Because you're not necessarily a part of the dinner activities as much as you are part of the in the background activities.
Is there like a balcony that I can overlook everything?
Absolutely, yeah. Inside, the main floor would be on the first floor of the boat. There is a balcony that goes around the second floor that has kind of like sitting areas, additional barrage. You could be up there and looking down over top of the casino without almost like an eye in the sky. A lot of security guards are up here.
Since I'm acting as security, I'm gonna be up here, looking down, making sure nothing's happening.
Okay, so it's at this point, Three Gun, when you're up there as the rest of the crew is sort of in its area, that you see a taller man, roughly 6 foot even, walk in with an all-white suit on, a white shirt that's unbuttoned down to like mid-chest, no tie, no cravat, just skin underneath it. And as he walks in, he is being flanked by 4 very large gentlemen and 1 very tiny redhead. And as he walks into this area, you know right away that this is Manny Sandoval. And as he walks in, he proceeds to walk directly to one of the tables. The table with the highest buy-in, sits down, and begins to play tall card.
I'll sit down too.
Oh, you're going to walk right over and sit down with Manny?
Yeah, I'm gonna sit down.
Okay, Three Gun, you'd see the doctor go over just as soon as Manny sits down, and he takes a spot. Where do you sit? If it's a traditional kind of a half table with 5 spots, Manny is taking the center spot. Are you on his right or his left? As
I'm gonna. Is there a way to be opposite him so I'm like eye to eye with him?
Yeah. We can do a horseshoe. Yeah, we'll just say it's a horseshoe table, and then you're able to sit down and go straight across from him.
Yeah, I'm gonna do that.
Okay. So, yeah, as you sit down and you look, he kind of looks up for a second, and he's a handsome man. You know, he is, his skin is darker. He probably, if this was the Earth that was, he would be described as Latin. But as he turns and looks up at you, he immediately goes back to the cards as the dealer turns and deals you in. We'll begin playing this game in a moment, as I have stolen Matthew Mercer's rules for card games, which I think are dope as hell, and we will actually play some cards. But what I want to do first is, Three Gun, you see this happen, and the one thing that strikes you, Three Gun, is that while he has 4 of these men with him, you know that he usually carries 7, and 3 of them are unaccounted for right now.
Yeah, I don't like that.
Can I be? I'd like to be next to Three Gun up at the top over there. If you'll let me come up there with him.
Yo, yeah, you could easily close as soon as you see Manny come in, because Three Gun's still observing as he sees the doctor come over. So you could climb up the stairs and move close to Three Gun as all this is kind of happening. So yeah, you two guys are together.
You feel that, honey?
Yeah, something ain't right.
Mm-hmm. What you got? She says, kind of turning a cold, dead face to the rest of the room, forgetting that she should be smiling and chipper, and just kind of goes into that immediate kind of eagle scanning, trying to pick up what he has picked up on, but she has not yet gotten it.
Missing security. At least 3 of them.
Well, now that just ain't right.
How about me and you go take a little walk to the back of the ships?
Sweetie, I thought you'd never ask.
And I'm going to go out the same way Manny came in, heading towards the back of the ship. Towards the shooting range.
I'm going to head off and give a quick eye to the rest of the crew, hopefully catching most of them. And one last longing look at bye.
Okay, so as this is all transpiring, we're going to cut away from Three Gun and Harriet for a second, as I'd like to know the positioning of Lo Jiao Li and of Felix and Bai. Lo, you're just presumably coming back from kind of getting everybody prepped for Bai and Felix's surprise.
Yeah.
So we're going to say that as the doctor takes the table with Manny Sandoval, we have Felix and Bai alone in the dinner area. Dinner is being served right now. You guys can eat. It seems as if you guys are kind of through a lot of the service, but there's still about a half hour left, so you guys can definitely get something to eat if you'd like.
Yeah. Felix walks by over to the table, pulls out sort of a match to just light the candle as we claim the table for ourselves. Hopefully not one that's sort of central, one that's against a wall or in a corner, or maybe even a booth. And he pulls out sort of the chair to allow Bai to take a seat.
Yeah, and I sheepishly follow.
And he sits down, and Felix looks calm, sort of quite a contrast to Bai's overwhelmed
apprehension,
nature.
Nervous,
everything. And he takes a seat and passes a menu across and says, well, I'm certainly sure that they won't hold a candle to your cooking, but it'd be nice for us to try something that wasn't, well, protein blocks. Not that you don't do wonderful things with them.
I've been wanting this for a long time.
Felix sort of like nods, and you see him sort of gaze across the room, and then he like stiffens slightly and turns his gaze back, and you sort of catch him almost in that automated fashion, sort of doing the sweep around the room, which he's always sort of doing, always trying to be aware of his surroundings, and then he actually physically stops himself and sits down and gives a sheepish, kind of embarrassed smile and says, "I'm doing it again, aren't I?"
Yeah, I definitely short and say, it's fine. This is fine. There's clearly something that is on my mind, and I'm avoiding it, and you know it, and you totally know what it is. And it looks like I'm maybe testing you to see if you remember. Right? Like, this is a nice day to go out. I'm really glad.
I sort of like, I'm gonna glance like through. I imagine there's like a glass roof like over the top of the dining area, so you can see the stars at night. Would I be far off there, Greg?
No, yeah, you can absolutely, like a view of the river is huge too. It's like 2 Mississippis, so you can't even see the shoreline.
Oh, well, in which case, Felix like looks up, completely playing it off at the stars, and says, "It is a wonderful night. It's certainly nice to. As much as I miss the stars, sometimes when you're out there, you forget to just look."
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you remember, up there is Aquila, the eagle, which, only comes out in June, near the end of the month.
I like glance across, picking it out, and I reach over the table and lace my fingers with Bai's as I stare up. My favorite time of year.
Mine too. I look at you while you're looking up.
So, I was thinking that as it's a wonderful night, and as we have this auspicious setting, and as you look as fantastic as you do, and hopefully I have scrubbed up sufficiently that I might draw your mind back. Go back what feels like a lifetime.
Yeah. My arms are crossed still, waiting for guarded E, waiting for you to finally admit that you remember. So I'm listening, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you haven't said it yet.
There was a time before this, a time when things were different for me. And when I say it feels like a lifetime ago, in a lot of ways for me, you're well aware it is in another life. That I was another man. And that man would be very ashamed to be sat across the table from someone as honorable, as kind, as compassionate as yourself. And that still, to this day, well, it's one of those stains that doesn't come clean easy. But you have inspired me to be more than that man. And for 7 glorious years, I have tried to be a man worthy of holding your interest and of living up to your shining example.
As you're saying this, my arms relax as it's clear that you do remember what tonight is, and that you are recalling us meeting, and this is pertaining to our anniversary. And I think at that pause at the end there, I grab your hand, and I say, "Happy anniversary to you, my love. To you too."
And with that cut, as you say that, and we see that this blossoming love inside of the Bella Rose, we are going to cut over to the back of the boat as both Harriet and Three Gun are traveling down the quickest artery in the ship to get to exactly the rear where the sheet or the skeet shooting range is. And just as you round the corner to go towards the very end of it, 3 of the biggest men that you've ever seen are coming around at the exact same time, and you all kind of stop and nearly run into one another as they eye you up and look around, and all 3 of them, their eyes settle on Three Gun. Aren't you security on this boat?
I am.
Aren't you supposed to be securing things? What are you doing back here?
I'm escorting this lovely young lady to the back of the boat. She wanted to go see the shooting range. What are you doing here when you're supposed to be guarding certain people?
You may roll me a social plus an influence plus your D8 for the boat, as you are known to be on the boat. But this particular area, now that you're looking around, you realize there's nobody else here, as if it's been cordoned off.
Let's see, social, influence, and the boat. Looks
Okay,
like
so
an
you-
11.
Yeah, you get an 11. So as they're looking, they kind of give you a side eye a bit, but they allow you to pass as they start heading back the way that you all came towards the casino floor. One of them turns and looks back your way as right as they kind of go around the corner, you just disappeared around.
I don't think they'd be dumb enough to leave stuff on their own, but at the same time, maybe they're just confident.
Nah, something else is going on.
Why don't you radio on up to your people and find out where they were coming from?
Yeah, I use my watch. Is there any like messages or anything about this part of the boat being off limits?
None that you've received.
Yeah.
Don't you have like a master key or something?
No. That's only a couple people have that.
I wonder if they're just patrolling security around the area that they're trying to protect.
No, there's usually people walking around. There's.
I mean, them personally doing it, not your security, hun.
No, all I'm saying is there's usually more people around. There's got to be more guards or something.
Why don't we keep looking, see what we can find?
Yeah. Let's keep on heading on to the back so they don't get suspicious.
Okay, we're going to cut to the tall card table as the game is in progress. We're going to say that the past couple games have gone back and forth. We're going to roll our first one here, and for this one, what we're going to do is the beautiful man that is Matthew Mercer figured out a very simple way to play cards here. And what I'm going to ask you to do is, and I'll put it here in Zoom chat, is to... Let me see. Simply... Anytime you guys are going to roll, type that before you roll. And that way, only I will know what you get and people at home can see it. And we will roll that out. And so no one else, unless they want to be stinkers and look on the feed, can see exactly how the hands are progressing. And so what I'd like you to do is roll a D8 for me based on what we just did there with the GM roll.
Yeah. How would my 14 come into play here?
I'm going to tell you about that in a moment.
Oh. Fly first.
Okie dokie. And
Right.
as
I'm going to roll a
that,
test first. Would that work, yeah?
you got it. Yep.
Cool. D8.
One more time.
Okay.
We're rolling what exactly? The mental.
You guys aren't rolling anything as
If you're playing cards.
this is a card game currently now between the Doctor and Manny Sandoval, who is standing face to face across from the poker table to one another. And as they are standing there, the first hands go by, and you can either raise, you can stay where you are, you can fold if you'd like. You see that Manny is now going to raise the stakes, and he raises them by 50%. So with the money that you're playing with, Doctor, it's starting to get a little bit substantial now with the amount of money that you have. So you can either call him and meet it or raise him beyond what he's just put down.
I think the Doctor rolls his thin cigar in his mouth, the smoke kind of bellowing up past his glasses, kind of takes it out with one hand and just kind of says, I think I'll raise.
Okay, so we'll say that where there was a pot before, it is now doubled. And so I would like you now to roll a D6 for me with the GM roll.
I can do that.
Okay. And once again, he looks and kind of eyes you up as this has been going back and forth, and he does not like this. And so he eyes you, and then he doubles again the pot as it stands. So it's now triple of what it was before you all began your betting as he looks over at you. And this is where your 14 comes into play. As you are sitting there, for a moment, And just because you know what you're looking for, as Manny is lifting down and readjusting his tall cards, you see a card appear from the outside of his sleeve as it simply drops into existence. You suspect he is using some type of holographic technology.
Okay. Seeing as how that works, and that is, it's made me smile because now I know you can have, as long as it's not transmissions, but your own personal feed going through to activate such a device. I'm going to use a plot point to use one of my pens I like to use. I'm going to get a napkin. I'm going to twirl it around. I'm going to write a drink order on it. I'm going to hand it off to a waiter, and I'm going to click it. And with the plot point, it's going to, if I can, add to the description field and kind of counteract the hologram that he's using.
Okay, so you want to be able to try to use your, and just so everybody knows, it's a personalized EMP that you use to knock out electronics in a small area.
Yes.
Okay, so as you are getting ready for the final hand to go through, as you write your drink order, you do trigger and activate.
Yeah, I like dot it down, tick the eyes, and then click it as like I finish writing, and then.
Okay, I want you to roll a physical and a sneak here to see if you can do this without Manny. Manny's watching you. He's eyeing you as a competitor and an opponent here.
No, I want him to see it.
Oh, you want him to see it? Okay.
I want him to know I did it.
Okay, so then as you click it, you, the dealer, the guards, the woman that you can only assume is the missus.
Oh, everyone sees it? Sorry, I thought it was just him who's going to see it. Sorry. If everyone's going to see it, then I will sneak it. I thought you meant just he would see it.
Okay, so if that's the case, roll me a physical and a sneak. Yeah, because what's going to be revealed is substantial.
Yes, okay. I thought it was just him who was going to see it. No worries. That was my mistake. So, what was it? Physical sneak?
Yep, please.
Okay. So let's see. I get a plus the sneak, which is super bad. I probably already lost it. Do I have anything I can use on this? I'm gonna use my other. Can I use?
I looked at your. You want to use what and what?
Is there any way to use a plot point to roll an extra?
Do you have an extra? Die? Because all I'm allowing right now is sneak and physical, as this is a straight up action that doesn't have any thought or motivations or focus, or you're just trying to get it done. So.
Okay. Yeah. No, I can't roll a plot point and add anything to it. Okay. Cool. I'm gonna roll this, and I'm gonna do it. Okay.
So as you trigger it, Manny's eyebrow, meticulously groomed, spikes up as you hit the button, and both of his sleeves disappear as the holographic devices that he was using, his bare forearms are lined with plum cards, tall cards, everything from the deck. And as that also happens, between two of his guards and the third being the missus, a 2x2 cube materializes. And he immediately looks at you and reaches into his vest. And as he reaches in, all three of the four of the guards that are with him see what he's doing, and they all pull out weapons that have now appeared, these large like automatic machine guns, as they pull them all out and are bearing and following the orders of one Manny Sandoval as he turns and begins to bear down on you. I'm going to give you a chance to do something, Doc. What would you like to do?
7-year anniversary. Couldn't even get to the starters.
Oh, God. Okay. Let's see here. Okay.
They had actual calamari.
No, I'm sad. I didn't get to eat you. Okay.
Actual calamari, man. Actual calamari.
Yeah.
We had 3
Come on.
days.
Can you tell me, like, what do I see around us right now?
You're pretty much out in the middle of the floor, but there are tables everywhere, tables of chance, and there's a group of people that are beginning to react to this drawdown that has occurred, and you start to see kind of in your periphery like flashes as security badges are operating back at the back of the ship just as Three Gun and Harriet get to the skeet range. You look up and you get there just in time to see a hovercraft ripple and appear as its holographic emitter is now gone. And you see the craft that was used for them to get aboard the Bella Rose is now in plain view, and your wrist also starts to light up, Three Gun, as you realize it's one of those pulses on the wrist that says, "Get here now." And it doesn't seem to be the calm kind.
Son of a bitch.
Time to dance, honey. Let's go.
Well, first things first, I'm taking this hovercraft out of play. I'm gonna pull
Okay.
the 2 ordinary guns and just start shooting at the pilot.
There
Can
is
I
no
help?
pilot. It seems to be it's clamped to the back end of the boat on the top deck.
But no pilot. Okay, fine.
Yeah, it's like it's tethered. Like if you remember from the movie, whenever they would fly into the port, they'd have that hook that kind of clamped it down as it hovered there. It's clamped onto the back of the Bella Rose.
Can we disable that at all?
Sure. I would need you to roll for me, Harriet, a physical and an operate as you're trying to figure out how to use this. Also for you, I'm going to allow Three Gun to be considered crew for this. So your first mate designation would come into play. And I would, yeah, you can pull those up and that should rock and roll for you.
All right. Roll 2d8 / roll 1d4. Ugh. Can I use a plot point to re-roll that? No? Okay.
No, considering what you have, you can't. The complication would be there, but you can use the plot point to. Let me see. What did you get? A 7 on all of that?
Yeah.
It's to disable this thing. It is only a. But it is a D8 as you are unable to do so. I will, however, since you got a million of them, allow you to use a plot point to incorporate that one and not get the for this.
Yes,
we're having
that's
fun.
what I was trying to.
Absolutely. So you're able to kind of bang it and it breaks free, but it doesn't kind of smash into the water. It just lazily floats out behind as it gets farther, floating on air still, but gets farther and farther behind as nobody's at the controls of this hovercraft.
I can feel Felix crying from here. What are you gonna do with a fucking boat, dude? We fly.
It's a hover ship.
Who cares?
Can that break Atmo? Is it like?
No, this appears to be a ground vehicle.
Okay. All right. Fair enough.
And
A
with
very
that, I'm
nice
assuming
one,
me and
but-
Three Gun take off.
Yeah, so as you and Three Gun turn and run, we're going to cut back to the doctor. As Lo Jiali, you arrive. You're confident that you have gotten a great setup for Felix and Bai. It's going to look really nice. And you walk in just as the emitters go off. There is a man with no longer having any sleeves. It's a tailored jacket, too, to make it look like the sleeves continue. It's really nice, and it's really ruined right now. And as he's standing there, his eyes wide at being outed in one of his favorite gambling halls, and across the way, as in a comfortable little quiet side table, Felix and Bai are reminiscing on the day of their meeting, and Bai is finally comfortable. Arms have just relaxed as he's realized that the love of his life remembers and everything is right with the world. Shit goes south. Doc, what are you going to do?
So this is what I'm going to do. Since this is a fancy establishment, I'm guessing they have all of the extravagant meals, extravagant drinks. So I'm looking for maybe there's a table nearby that has shish kebabs, but flaming shish kebabs, and someone's bringing it over. So I want to kind of grab a serving tray and try and ricochet hit the person, so the person holding the tray of shish kebabs flies up and it hits.
You're trying to set the boat on fire.
No, I'm doing it so the shish kebabs like pierce the three people who's going to shoot me. So I'm trying to angle it so a chain of effect
So
happens.
you
Just like I did in the
skewer
bar.
the people with the shish kebabs.
Yeah, just like I did in the bar.
You want a Rube Goldberg machine on this shit, right?
Right. Okay, well, here's where things are going to start to break down a bit for you. On this side of the area is the gambling side. The food and the drinks, or the food, is over on the other side. You do, however, and I will allow this, if you want to create an asset with a D6, we can have a conveniently placed waitress who's carrying a huge tray of, like, way too much. It's like grav-assisted tray of champagne flutes as she's getting ready to hand them out, and she just so happens to be there. It will cost you a plot point to use her, but you may attempt to try to kick her and buy yourself a couple seconds. But these cats are legit, and they are turning on you.
Yeah. Is anyone borrow me a plot point? No, I might have like a gajillion, maybe.
She can help you if she's there, but she's not there. She is your captain,
Yeah.
but right.
More of a support though. Okay, cool. Yeah, I'm gonna do it now. I'll spend a plot point to
This is just so reminiscent of this one time with another husband. Good old jackpot.
God damn it. Can I tell they're about to like to shoot me, or are they gonna like trying to like hold me off? Can I tell that?
No roll at all. They're gonna shoot you.
Okay, fuck that, yeah.
Because of my first mate thing, can I spend a plot point to join a scene involving the crew that I'm not currently in?
Yep.
Yes.
Yep. So
Can I spend 2 to bring 3 guns with me somehow?
I love it.
Okay.
That sounds like a perfect use of plot points, as you are able to haul
Help me.
ass, and you and 3-Gun are able to burst into the back. And in fact, when you burst in through a way, because you've meticulously figured out this whole ship, I think if I cut through here, I'll get there faster. You do, just in time for the other 3 guards that were on their way back that you guys passed and had a word with. They get there just as they walk in, so there are now 7 people here. They see that their other 4 compatriots have pulled out their guns. They're going for their guns. Harriet, 3-Gun, what are you guys going to do? As this is turning into, listen, this is a casino, and it seems the floor show is a shit show, and you guys have front row seats. Well,
And
the doc has front row seat.
Well, now this is turning into my kind of party, everyone. What
Okay.
on tarnation is going on here?
I would like to flag down a very official-looking security officer or anybody who looks really well armed. Be like, oh, do you see that gentleman cheating over there? It's just awful.
They all seem to be in a state of shock. They are all armed,
yeah,
but they
I'm
don't
gonna
know
try
exactly
to
what's
shake
going
one
on.
out of it and be like, get him involved instead of just standing there stupid.
Okay, yeah, one of them. If you want to use a plot point, I can give you a security guard, a D6 asset of a security
Sure.
guard.
Yeah,
Okay.
I don't fight. What am I gonna do here?
Okay, so just like that, Lo Zhao Li has got herself a gun and a guy to pull the trigger.
Words.
Do I see that this is all going around the doctor?
And I get behind
Oh,
him.
okay.
Also, I stand behind him. 'cause
Now
I
that
need a meat
is-
shield.
That is my ship's doctor, and I am the captain of the courtesan, and I demand to know what is going on around here. Doctor, would you mind joining me over here? I say, trying to give him a chance to walk away if he needs it.
What's going to happen here is I'm going to need the doc to do whatever it is. Tell me what he's going to do. I'm going to make him roll something. They're all going to roll, but now the roll is going to encompass everybody, as 3-Gun and Harriet are going to be in this kind of area as they realize that you're all together, and this group is now
You don't
going
know
to do
these
something.
people.
Yeah, they have not
I-
turned on Low or Felix or Bai, but the
Can
doc,
I-
Harriet, and 3-Gun are, yeah.
Can I have my gun at the? I'm not I'm gonna
One's in the
draw
room.
it, but I'm gonna draw it, but I'm gonna draw it still inside my jacket and aim, and I'm literally going to just sort of like.
I will absolutely
hold on.
give you your gun, but Bai
on.
sees you pull the gun out
What if-
and
yeah.
realizes that you brought a goddamn gun to their anniversary dinner.
Yes.
Oh
yes.
my god!
Yes. I was gonna suggest. It's like, no. What if it's possible for me to like tell you to? Yeah. Oh my god, that's so good. That's even better. Yeah. I was gonna say like, please just let's have 2 more minutes of our anniversary without this going on. But I love your idea even better of me just being mad again, being like, oh come on.
I'm just gonna shoot by a reminder and under the table, and at first it seems almost like maybe a sort of racy move as his hand goes onto Bai's thigh, but then instead of moving inside, moves outside to the gun that is with
that's on my...
with like micro porous tape is strapped to your thigh. And I'm like. Like, baby.
Oh yeah. Yes.
Baby, I'm sorry. Honey has to go to work. Like,
Kick the table, slow motion shoot.
Aww.
Okay, so here's what I want from everybody that's going to engage this group of people. I want you, if you're shooting, I want shooting going down. 3-gun for you. That would be a physical, a shoot, and then you're able to use your gunslinger here as it's multi-enemy, so that's another D6. So
A
D10
D8 for my rig, and then focus.
You roll it out, buddy. You got it done. You got it locked and loaded. Okay, so as 3-gun goes to work, everybody else, we're going to make one big contested roll as this is almost like a mech. Everybody just bursts into action. At this point, the only targets or potential people that could be hurt by the enemy are 3-gun, Harriet, and the doctor. Lo Zhao Li, you can order your guy to fire. You'll be using straight 6s, so a 6 physical, a 6 shoot, and knowledge of the boat is a 6. You get to roll 3d6s for that one. Felix, you can go ahead and roll a shoot, physical, shoot, and see what you get.
okay. Physical.
Ooh.
Oh wait.
Let
me clear that.
I'm not sure it matters, but Felix, I have an ability that whenever we share a scene together, we can use the plot points of one another.
I know.
Right.
Okay. I just want you to forget about it.
Oh yeah. Oh no. Nah. Crap. Right. So I'm rolling. Shoot. Focus.
Sure.
Physical.
Can I apply focus as well?
Actually, no. You can only roll one of those. So just go ahead and roll it, but we'll take the focus off because it's only one skill and one attribute.
Oh, I didn't roll the focus as well. I did the physical and shoot.
Yeah.
Listen, you've got plot points. You're killing whoever you aim at, so don't worry. Tia, don't even worry about rolling today. You can log out of roll 20.
I want one of those like slow dancing music things as she's just like da 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 da.
Certain distinctions let you spend a plot point to add your focus to rolls.
Oh, that's cool.
Right. Tia, yeah, you've basically gone Atomic Blonde in here. Like it's just not. It's just
good reference.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So can I roll focus? Or is it just physical and shoot?
Okay, let me tell you. Yeah, you just roll. Actually, you know what? If Bai spends a plot point, I will allow you to apply your focus as well. How's that?
Sweet. Okay. I'm gonna borrow a plot point from my hubby, and I'm going to stand and very apologetically tip the table so me and Bai have cover and draw and shoot. Can I spend one of my plot points to keep the extra dice in? So one each?
Yep.
So that's a 14.
Okay, so what ends up happening here, there is a hail of gunfire as 3-gun pulls out his rig and just starts blasting. And in this system, it's not, oh, you didn't roll well, you missed everybody. There's a cluster of 7 people right here. This is a trained killer in 3-gun. So as he's firing, he's hitting and taking people out. Harriet is taking people out. Felix, as you're able to shoot, you're able to take somebody out. But how this roll breaks down is this. Doc, you get shot. And as you're turning, you feel something bite into your right shoulder blade as it spins you around, and you go flying to the ground and slide to a stop. But with this hail of gunfire that's come through, what ends up happening is Manny Sandoval turns around. He sees all of his people just in various states of being wounded. As an Old West gunfight is never somebody gets shot and then they're out. It's they get shot 18 times and then they bleed to death. And so as everybody's standing there kind of shooting back and forth, Harriet seemingly the only one who hasn't taken some type of graze as she is dancing through this in the greatest place that she's ever experienced on this or any other spinning mud ball as the luckiest luck of the Bella Rose. Manny Sandoval turns around, grabs the cube, and jumps over the table past the dock and explodes out the back right beside 3-gun. 3-gun, you get shot in the shoulder. It's just a graze, but it takes a good chunk of meat. You know that this is something that's going to require multiple stitches. As you kind of spin around and drop one of your other guns to the ground, that's the complication that you receive. So you're able to pull your 3rd gun out, but your main gun, your scatter gun, is still in your dominant hand as you are the closest and you see Manny jump through the door.
No, I'm gonna go grab my 3rd gun and then chase Manny.
Okay, so you guys see 3-gun as he disappears right after Manny as the door swings closed behind them.
Can I pat like the guy on the shoulder? Good job. And since we know the ship so well, can I try to cut off Manny by like from like a coat closet or like some other like service passageway and be like, in here, they won't find you.
I will tell you this, you can absolutely do that, but this guy's not going to leave the area. You're going to leave your asset behind. Now, if you spend another plot point, you can make it for the entire scene and convince him to come with you. But if not,
No. I want to convince Manny to come in with me into a...
Oh, okay. Yeah. So as you cut off, you're able to use that, and we'll just say that you disappear.
Fight this guy. I tell the guy to like handle the situation with those awful, horrible ruffians who just drew and shot first, and they were the cheaters. And as I try to like run and cut off the guy from like a service corridor or something, be like, they won't find you in here. Come on. That's my goal, is to cut him off and give him a means of escape with my persuasive ways.
Okay, so as you are able to get in there, I'm going to give it a moment as we're going to have 3-gun close in on that. But what I want from everybody that's still in the casino, shots from Felix have now drawn the others as they turn to look. Several of them seem hurt, but once again, ooh, that's a little bit better. Another 14. As anybody that's in the casino right now, Harriet, you don't have to roll. What I'd like you to roll, though, is roll me a d6, as you've got 6 shots in your gun. Let's see what happens here, as this is going to be you.
Don't even worry about it.
The greatest, you feel alive.
I'm a
Harriet,
god.
you've never felt alive like this
Become
before.
as gods.
Right.
Woo! You hear her screaming as she's shooting.
So yeah, you're all about it. There's a cackle and a whoop as you fan the fucking hammer and just boom, 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 boom. And as there were 7 plus the misses standing there, there are now there's now 1 that's still up. The other ones are on the ground groaning out of this fight. As the doc, you're able to kind of slide over, but the small redheaded woman turns and sees you and realizes you are the reason why all of this happened. And as she turns, she jumps at you.
I'm trying to like, I got like a champagne flu.
She comes at you with a 7, and then what you can do is if you want to just roll to kind of get away, you can do like a physical and a move to see if you can roll out of the way as she jumps down and produces a knuckle dagger from inside her skirts as she just launches in at you.
Can I throw my fucking asset knife at her as she's coming down? Fuck this, I'll
Buffalo
drop.
Tom Thick.
Yeah, Buffalo Tom Thick says fucking hello, babe.
Okay,
That's
again,
awesome.
I am going to allow you to do that because that's dope as shit. But here's what I want. I want the doc to roll a physical and a move because I want to know if he's going to get crunched by this. And then I'm going to make you spend a plot point for this, and I'm going to make you roll it. I want to see if you can get her with a physical and a fight, Harriet.
No. I got a 1.
Nailed it.
Yeah, you don't. You already beat him. You already beat the roll that they had set up. So as she's coming in and she's coming down on top of this, and you know what? Spend another plot point and re-roll that 1.
Yes. Doing it.
So as you are burning through the plot points in this, the luckiest of areas, the doc is a dead man as he already has a D8 of gunshot. This would drop down on top of him and take him to at least a D10 of bleeding out, which means he's 1 away from actual character death. And as she's coming down with the knife, you see a point stick out of the front of her dress between her breasts, as you see about 2 inches of the Buffalo Tom Thick knife explode out of the front, and her hand just goes just loose and slack as she turns and looks and falls to the ground and slides beside you. And her eyes lock on yours for a second as you see the last of her breath go out of her body.
You just hear,
God. Behind you. Behind is the camera. Yeah, is literally, oh my God. Yeah, totally. Just standing there, like the throwing motion, Harriet, like, you know, like you just threw it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And so the remaining gunman stands
That's
and
it.
sees 6 of his friends just get killed, and then his boss, the missus, just get run through by 1 woman. He throws his gun to the ground, shoots his hands up in the air, and just turns. I give up. I surrender. I give up.
I'm gonna shoot him with a dart.
Big
like,
vindictive.
I have like lace with like some like nerve age, like some nerve numbing things. He just like spasms on the floor. It won't kill him, but he'll just like start spasming for a bit.
Okay, so Felix and Bai, as you're sitting there, you go, I give up. I surrender.
Felix,
You see him drop to the ground. He just starts shaking.
Now,
Heart attack. Tragic.
now, I would like a plot point in exchange for getting shot. I want to be wounded.
Yeah, he wants the drama. The drama.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Because you took me into harm's way. And I have a hitched one. And I think it's perfect for hitched.
Okay, so I will
love it.
take it, and I'm going to give you a D6 of. Oh no, you know what? I'll make it saucy. I'll make it I'll make it a. If you want me to, I'll make it a D8 of.
Yeah, step it up to a D8.
A D8 of my good hip, as the D8 hits your good hip and spins you around into Felix's arms as the blood begins to pool over your side of your very nice vest and the very nice tight trousers that you were wearing.
Okay.
And it's almost as if he's dipped you in a dance as he's holding you there in the middle of this area.
I look up to Felix and I say, in sickness and in health, right?
And we cut from this scene of pretty good courtesan dynamics as we head to the back. 3-gun, you're shot, you're bleeding out, and as you smash against the wall trying to keep up with Manny, you're leaving a trail of crimson behind you as you're bleeding from more wounds than what you expected before, but none of them seem to be fatal as you're kind of just making your way through here. And as you make your way through, you see doors closing just in front of you. You know the passageway that which he's going. You know this boat better than Manny. And as you realize he's heading for his hovercraft. And a moment before you kind of kick open the back door, you hear this wail of no as he gets out there, and in the very distance he sees that little hovercraft, just little lights blinking on the sides of it as it just scoots away. And he spins around, and he has a very ornate shooter's pistol, which is a long-barreled gun. And as he comes around, the two of you are standing there, And lo, you kind of burst in at the last minute and kind of see this off to the side as the two of these gunslingers are looking at each other, and with their guns by their side, all this scene needs is a tumbleweed to blow through it as they both go for their weapons. 3-Gun, if you got something to say, you can say it. Otherwise, let your pistols do the talking, as this is going to be 3-Gun for you. This is a physical, a shoot, a gunslinger, and your rig.
Manny, I've never liked you. You're an ignorant swine. Probably don't even know what the banality of evil is. You know what the banality of evil is? Of course you don't. It's
I
a concept.
don't care.
It's a concept from Earth that was. Shut your mouth before I knock your block off. It's a concept from the Earth that was, saying that the evil is perpetuated by the people at the bottom. You just follow someone else's orders, then you tell other people to follow your orders. Me, I did the same thing one time. How about we close a cycle real fast? 1 bullet. Whoever's faster.
You see that he has no intention of following that, but he nods and says, "So be it, simpleton." And he pulls it out. And as he pulls it out, his jacket ruffles, and revealed now with the hologram down is his Alliance Marshal's badge, as you realize that Manny Sandoval is a cop.
Okay. Since I haven't apparently been spotted yet, but I'm up and I'm witnessing this.
We're rolling the shot. You see them exchange shots here.
What I wanted to do is I wanted to get my compact out and try to shine it in his eyes, the marshal's eyes.
This is all going down. I'll tell you what.
Okay.
And
I'll give it
top point as well.
Yeah. I tell you what, I'll give you roll an extra D6, Cody, as just the last second, a little bit of light flickers in
from my
his eyes.
jewelry, I'm like aiming that big emerald right there.
You
like,
are so bougie. I love you.
Okay,
Good
so
assist.
as everything flashes in, he rolled an 11
I rolled a 17.
and 3-Gun
Ah.
3-Gun guns his ass down. As Lojali, you see bleeding from numerous spots himself, 3-Gun is able to pull out his main weapon, and you can see the scatter shot as it flies through the air and just tears at Manny's face as he gets hit, spins, drops the cube, and begins to pitch overboard. And as he pitches over, he fires one last shot, and you see 3-Gun get clipped as it takes him center mass somehow. And 3-Gun hits the railing, drops over the back, and you see him tumble out of sight. You hear twin splashes.
Does he leave the cube or does he tumble overboard with it?
Nope, they both tumble overboard, and the cube is remaining on the deck.
Okay. Is there a life preserver? This is
Yeah,
a
there's
boat.
one against the wall.
I'm gonna grab it. Look overboard because they're both tumbled over.
You
Do they
see
look
nobody.
alive?
You see nobody on the surface.
Would I have been running in that general direction at some point?
If you had figured it out where they had come from, I'd say that everybody's getting there with the exception of the Doc and Felix and Bai, because we got wounded back there. So Harriet, you'd be the one free enough to be able to get there. And you can kind of get there just as low as like deciding whether or not to throw the...
I'm like standing overboard, hold the life preserver in one hand, like the cube in another.
Can
and I'm
I like run by, grab the life preserver, and like dive in, like putting 2 and 2 together that 3-Gun's probably down there? So I'm just gonna do the whole swan dive thing. I'm quickly shedding my guns.
I'm gonna put
the
that
thumb
cube up my skirt.
Okay, it's a 2 foot
It's a
by 2 foot
2 foot
cube.
I'm not wearing a
cubes.
slinky dress.
Are you?
Okay,
I'm wearing some with a little bit of a girth. 2 feet. You
Okay.
can fit that under a petticoat.
Lindy, I
I-
want
are
you to
you
go
ready?
get an
Would
igloo
you like
cooler.
me to get a petticoat and find a 2x2 box and show you? It's like I can show you.
No,
I
because
have both those things.
you've proven me wrong too many times before. So no.
I've seen it on YouTube where they wear like the big dresses and shove like fucking TVs underneath and stuff like that. It's possible.
Okay, I will tell you this, Harriet, as you kind of throw your rig to the ground and jump overboard with the life preserver, You hit the ground, water, and splash as it hits, and it has a weird kind of almost like a tonic-y taste to it, like it's slightly carbonated. It's bizarre. It seems like water to you, but for any of us to jump in it, we'd be like, this is not water. It's weird. And as you're kind of swimming around, nobody breaks the surface. You do not see Manny. You do not see Three Gun. Lo, when you are on the deck back here, nobody has come. This place was cordoned off, so none of the security has even found this area. They're too busy other places. You realize that this device, coincidentally, is a holo emitter. It appears to be a holographic projector.
Can I tell if it will play is it like a message? And is it going to continually play message, or is it like a one-time kind of thing? Can I tell that from looking at it?
Oh, it looks absolutely, the emitter's big enough that it seems to be like a whole field type of emitter, and it seems like it could play many times.
Okay. Is there a message on it right now?
Yep.
I want to play it. I'm gonna get like in a corner. I'm not gonna be standing on the deck super obvious. I'm gonna like tie off her life preserver rope and then walk off to like a little.
I have this
corner.
image of you crouching slightly, clicking the message, and it just displaying on the outside of your dress where the
Yeah,
inside it lights up.
basically.
So your dress becomes like a
The
green
projector screen. Yeah.
It just says, "Save me, Obi-Wan Kenobi."
Right. Okay, so what ends up happening here is, Lo, as Harriet's down there screaming for Three Gun, the surface is completely still behind the ripple of the boat. You kind of get down in the corner and activate the holo cube.
Mm-hmm.
And immediately around you, you are swept into what appears to be a prison. As you see these like plexiglass domes that are biospheres and cells, and there's like a tan silt on the ground, and you see kind of from a distance, as if it was shot in secret, this camera angle, and you see men with long beards, and they look more like skeletons than anything else. And they have crazy hair that's patched and full of mange, as they appear not only to be prisoners, but somebody that has been starved or beaten or both. And as they stand there, they straighten, and you see that there are rows and rows of these men, and they are all saluting, and they are all singing the hymn of the independence. And as it pans back, this camera shot that's taken kind of jittery, as if somebody's holding it is scared about what they're actually filming. It's date stamped as 2 weeks ago. And as these men are standing there, it's identified as Andersonville Prison. And furthermore, the camera turns and you see this young woman's face as she's looking into the vid, into the projector. And she says, "This is Susan Getz. These men are independents. They were said to be killed in action, but they're not. They're being held in Andersonville Prison. These are prisoners of war that have not been returned." And then it just goes by. And again, it starts over. And you see the...
I'll pause it. I'll stop it if it starts over.
And with that, that is where we will end this episode of Tales from the Big Damn Verse.
Hey, and guys, we still have 2 days on this river cruise.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
You mean I didn't find Three Gun?
Nope. Three Gun never surfaced.
Did I find his gun by any chance?
No. He did leave the one that got knocked out of his hand, but it's just a normal pistol.
No, I remember I went after that. I went after that gun before I chased after Manny.
Oh, that's right. That's right. He got his third gun. That's right. He left nothing behind. Three Gun is not Two Gun. He's Three Gun. So Three Gun has fallen over the side. If we see him again, we see him again, but his current whereabouts are unknown. As are those.
3 guns, 2 shots. What legacy.
All right, everybody. Nice. I liked it so much. Great episode to all. I want to cut over to Cody. Cody, what did you think, buddy? Did you... Three Gun, I loved him, buddy. I loved the punch in Atherton wing. That was dope, man. I didn't know you were going that. I thought he was going to kill him. I was like, all right, Go ahead and kill Atherton.
No.
Wing.
You know, security. I gotta, put him in line, get him out. But no, I enjoyed the episode. It was really great. I'm glad I put the idea of a riverboat in your head.
Oh, it's fantastic, buddy. As soon as you're like Riverboat, I'm like, yep, we can do that.
Oh yeah, a great episode.
I just love it. Was sort of the way it was just like, I have money, and it's like, interesting. I have a fist. I win. Just bang.
But it shows you three guns mentality. You might have money, you might have fancy words, but when it comes down to it, violence is violence.
Oh.
Absolutely.
I love that man. Harriet is dejected now that he is gone.
Hey, everybody, make sure you follow Cody online. I put his Twitter in the chat. Lord Conti, we will see. I will let you know that just like Joss Whedon's Firefly universe, guest stars are never really gone. So we will leave it at that as we leave Three Gun to a long drink. And we will go down to Harriet. Tia, what did you think tonight?
What did I think tonight? Come on! I got to dance and shoot, and turns out this is my kind of shindig. Like, feel very like this is my kind of party or whatever it was. And the fact that we got to fuck up Atherton, like, as a Firefly fan. Thank you, Grimjack. Like, thank you for giving us the opportunity to see that smarmy, slimeball, douchey guy get put in his place. Fuck you, Atherton Wing.
Right. And the other reason why I wanted to put Atherton in there is it gives you and the viewers a bit of a timestamp as to exactly when the courtesan's adventures are taking place. As mentioned by Sir Warwick and now Atherton, it's right after Shindig. So Serenity's out there somewhere.
This has definitely been my favorite episode so far for obvious reasons.
And I am letting you take half of your plot points with you to next week. So
Sweet.
That means, I don't want you. I want you to be able to take full advantage of those. So I'm going to give you an even 10. You can take 10.
Literally,
with you next
just
week.
Use them on everything until they're gone.
Absolutely. Sounds good. Everybody, please follow Tia on Twitch and the Twitters. She is in the chat. Where can we find you?
You can find me here on Twitch. You can find me on Twitter under Laurelania, and you can join my Discord server if you go on over to my page. There's a list for my Discord, and we talk about all things that are nerdy all the time. And over on Encounter Roleplay sometimes, because they're great. And tonight I will be on the Greyhawk channel, playing a drunken pirate half-drow. That'll be fun.
Nice. That sounds good. Pro, the doc got shot. How are you doing?
Bit dejected that my suit got messed up, but apart from that, plan didn't quite go as I thought. Turned 3 days into half of one, but how it is. Thank you for running as always. Thanks to everyone who was playing. Super fun. You can find me here on Fridays playing with these lovely people. Next Friday as well at 1 a.m. GMT, find me on After Table playing Monster Hearts, teen emo vampires. So that's just up my alley. On Saturdays, in about 2 weeks, I will be starting a new D&D show on my channel at Pro Restarter on Twitch. On Sundays, coming soon, so looking at some scheduling and whatnot, I will be running a show on Lorelenia's channel. That's going to be good. We're going to be running some Shadow of the Demon Lord, but still setting all that up, so I'm looking forward to that. Mondays, you can find me on the Greyhawk channel at 1:30 a.m. GMT, playing Vile and Villainous, where I play an evil Asimar. Tuesdays, about the same time, about 1 a.m. on Wandering DM channel, playing some Star Wars. Wednesdays, Wandering DM channel, playing some Swayhander. There's some rescheduling for that, but that should be good when it starts up again. And yeah, just throughout the week as well, just on my channel at Pro Restarter, Twitch, Twitter, and YouTube, doing all the stuff, playing with audio, some people. Love the groups I'm in. Thank you for having me.
Awesome, brother. Awesome. Lindy, Lo Jiao Li. By the way, I will let everybody know, Elizabeth and the stewards did a fantastic job. Felix and Bai's room is incredible. It's appropriate. There's candlelight. There's there's wine and champagne. There's oils, and everything is just perfect. And
we'll see.
Elizabeth is sitting there, and she nods and looks around and is very happy with herself when the first bullet shot goes off. But
It's my little slice of home.
right.
I would have given her instructions. If you hear gunfire, go to your room and lock the door.
Oh, she doesn't need to be told that anymore.
Yeah, I know.
You guys have effectively fucked her up enough that she knows to hide whenever there's a bullet. Okay, go.
We're
go
gonna
ahead,
come. We're
Wendy.
gonna come back
Good
to
girl.
my room, and there's just she's gonna be in Lo Xiaoli's car. No one knows how she got it on the ship, but it's her safe place.
Right.
I had a fantastic time. This was such a great episode. I would like to think that Xiaoli used the rest of her plot points, her other 2 plot points in her big damn hero die to smooth things over with Sir Warwick and just continue the rest of the cruise, get the remaining 2 days out of it instead of going back to port. I'm like, look, these things happen, blah, blah, blah. Everything's fine. So, because she knows the crew needs a bit of a break. And she does too.
You guys get it.
But I had an amazing time. It was awesome playing with Lord Conti. He was exactly what we needed, which was a gun person, because we all know I don't fight. I spend plot points to get other people to fight for me, like security. That's what they're there for.
Eric spends plot points to get shot. Yeah, you guys need a gunfighter.
But it's so perfect. It is so perfect for the scene to have
Yeah.
him like, this was supposed to be special, and now I'm bleeding on our fucking anniversary.
They get treated at the med ward, and then they get back to the room, and they're both just like, wow. It's very nice. But I had a blast. I had so much fun. I can't wait for next week. You can find me in the meanwhile online at Laugh Love Lindy. The in-laws have officially left the building, so my RPG schedule is back to normal next week. You can find me tomorrow night on, I believe it's RPG Lab for some women in tabletop gaming. It's a one-shot. I don't remember what the system is or what it is exactly, but it's going to be fun, so just keep an eye out on that channel tomorrow. Sunday nights, you can find me back here for Pulp Cthulhu, where I play Greta, and we're in Germany, and everything's great, and I read other people's mail. Tuesdays, you can find me and Greg on Tomes and Tentacles podcast, and it's super awesome. And then later that day, Tuesday afternoon, you can find me and Josh playing Vecna Lives on the Greyhawk channel. And then later that evening on my channel, I'm DMing Out of the Abyss. On Wednesdays, check out Encounter Roleplay for me, Greg, and a bunch of other cool people playing more Call of Cthulhu in the afternoon. And then 3 hours after that, still an Encounter Roleplay, Star Wars RPG, because I'm an addict. And then Thursdays, you can find me on WebDM's channel for Land Between Two Rivers, and then back here on Friday for the amazingness that is this.
Thank you, Lindy. Thank you. And over to the man that almost got it perfect. Josh, Felix almost had it. What'd you think, bud?
Me and the doc are going to have words. I wanted one night. I didn't even, the whole cruise, I knew it would go wrong, but the first night, my name is Josh, sometimes known as Encounter Josh. You can find me on Encounter Roleplay on Tuesdays, causing havoc and hell in the Long March. Before that, I play a game with the wonderful Lindy and an amazing crew over on the Greyhawk channel in Vecna Lives. I do a whole load of stuff. You can find out all the stuff on Twitter. And me and Lindy are both in podcasts, so you should check out. Lindy is in the fantastic Tomes and Tentacles podcast with DM Greg, which is absolutely amazing. You should check that out. And myself, I am suffering even more than I am suffering right now here in the Turncloaks pod. Check that out at Turncloaks pod.
Excellent. Sorry, I was muted. Let me make sure everybody follow Josh there, and you can follow all of his shenanigans. And his, well, actually, he doesn't have many shenanigans. He has like dire moments, just awful shit. So if you're up for awful shit, Josh is your guy. You found it. Friday is one. And speaking about winning Fridays, dire shit, and Josh, Eric, bye. How'd it go, bud?
I love this game. I love playing. Lorelania explained it best. I'm like the Kaylee of the ship, and that is exactly what I wanted. I want to play a character who is not the crazy, awesome, badass, super competent person at everything. I want to be the heart, and I want to be the soul. I want to be the heart of the ship. So I love it a lot, and I love playing with you all. You're all so great. Cody, like thanks for coming out and hanging out with us today, whooping it up.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, this is super fun. I love this game. I look forward to this game all week. You do such an amazing job of running the show, Greg. Seriously. If you're not already, follow the channel here. Like everything that Grimjack does is incredible.
It's gold. It's literally gold.
I've been on role playing streams for like 3 years now, and I'm telling you, like this shit is gold. This is great.
Fridays are my favorite days.
Speaking of which, you can follow me at Eric Vulgaris and everything like that. My stream setup right now is a little bit light as far as role-playing game content. That's only because I have some really exciting news I can't announce yet. I got a new job, but you'll hear it in a couple weeks where it is and what I'm doing. And I think you're going to be really happy for me because I know I'm going to be happy. It's basically my dream job. But in the meantime, if you like the overlays here, I do overlay commissions for your D&D streams and stuff like that. I do overlay designs. Further, I'm also a game designer, and I'm a finalist in the 200-word RPG challenge. My game Knights and Their Lances has made it there, and I'm definitely outclassed by the quality of games that are there. I feel embarrassed around these stellar games. But also, I've been playtesting and working on a game called Ozymandias, which is a world-building game that I've been putting together, and it's super fun. So if you ever want to build a world together with your friends to play D&D in and figure out why there's dungeons and why, like, what is the history of this place and the previous civilizations that were here before, that is the game to do it. I'm really proud of it right now. And so, yeah, I've just been on kind of a game design spree. And I also want to do a quick shout out to this game called Swords Without Master, which I'm totally going to tell other people about as well. And definitely, I think it'd be up to Greg's here style. It's kind of sword and sorcery through and through. It's this really fun game, and so go Google around for it. It's by the guy who made Dread, Epidiah.
Oh, nice.
It's super fun. It's super pulpy and just utterly amazing. Anyways, I've been doing that a lot. And otherwise, yeah, that's me. Get out of here.
Awesome, brother. Once again, thanks to Cody for inventing a fantastic character in 3-Gun and giving you guys the Bella Rose. He said, let's do this on a steamboat ship. And I'm like, Riverboat? Okay. I like that idea a whole bunch. And so we have the Bella Rose now on Persephone, which is canon and could potentially show up again. As I said, of course, could 3-Gun. And so in addition to all of that, I'd like to tell you all, I'm not going to go on too much, but next week this time at 12, we're going to begin Conan, Age Undreamed Of. At 2 o'clock, Firefly begins. Saturdays at 2 o'clock, we have Project Kronos for Pulp Cthulhu. And Sundays at 7 to 9 is Project Athena, my other Pulp Cthulhu show. And that's the channel. Flash Gordon's coming a little bit later. And we might even have a podcast coming. What? I didn't say that, but that was just me talking. So anyway, as Cody and the rest of the crew look around here, I'm going to tell you all, stay shiny, stay safe out there, and I tell you what, let's go see our friend Myth. Myth's in the game, Vecna lives.
Can I say something real fast?
Absolutely, brother.
I'm Lord Conti. I am the head of the Heroes of the Storm division of the Violent Mentality Gaming organization. We have a great stream team. Just look for search for Violent Mentality here on Twitch.
Yes.
We play all kinds of games. Feel free to join us.
Yay!
Absolutely, and take him up. I will put his. Everybody, make sure you follow. As information can be found on your Twitter, correct, Cody?
I can put it there, yeah.
Yeah, he's going to put it there for you, everybody, so you can follow it up and link it up correctly. Until then, we're going to go see my man, Mythmatic, as he works through all the things that he likes to do with that beautiful, beautiful mustache. But until then, everyone, have a fantastic weekend. Stay shiny. We'll see you here next week. And hey, lift one up for 3-Gun. Did a hell of a job. But if you see Harriet, stay the fuck away from her. She's crazy. Later.
Woo!